Welcome viewers. We'll continue practicing MCQs about psychology and this is part 3. Let's start. A condition involving mental retardation caused by an extra chromosome in one's genetic makeup is known as cretinism, autism, Down syndrome, or Savant syndrome. Answer is C, that is Down syndrome. In classical conditioning, which element determines what the conditioned response will be? The conditioned stimulus, the unconditioned stimulus, both A and B, or neither A nor B. Correct answer is B, that is the unconditioned stimulus. Another name for operant conditioning is social learning, latent conditioning, instrumental conditioning, or instinctive conditioning. Answer is C, that is instrumental conditioning. Tests designed to assess what a person has learned are called tests, aptitude tests, standardized tests, achievement tests, or intelligence tests. The correct answer is achievement tests. Thorndike law of effect was an early form of the present-day principle of extinction, contiguity, reinforcement, trial and error. The correct answer is C, that is reinforcement. Next, blaming the victim is a process most closely associated with diffusion of personality, de-individuation, belief in a just word, or scapegoating. Answer is C, that is belief in just word. Most human fears are universal, learned, present at birth, or biological determined. Answer is D, biological determined. Next, the 17th century philosopher who believed that the mind is blank at birth and that most knowledge comes through sensory experience is Plato, Aristotle, Descartes, or Locke. The correct answer is Locke. Which one of the following has not been used as an industrial method at the supervisor's management levels? Case method, role-playing method, free association method, or sensitivity training method? The correct one is C, that is free association method. A visual scene can be separated into two parts: the dash, which is the object that commands our attention and which seems to exist continuously behind the object. Figure, ground, good form, good continuation, ground, background, good form, or circumscription. The answer is A, that is figure and ground. Which of the following types of learning is measured by a matching item on a test? Saving, relearning, reconstruction, or recognition? Answer is C, that is reconstruction. Next question is two examples of mood disorders are major depression and generalized anxiety disorder, obsessive compulsive disorder and maniac depressive disorder, major depression and bipolar disorder, major depression and obsessive compulsive disorder. The answer is C, that is major depression and bipolar disorder. Next is Sidra memorized her shopping list. When she got to the store, she found she had forgotten many of the items in the middle of the list. This is an example of inappropriate coding, retrograde amnesia, proactive interference, or the serial position effect. Answer is C, that is proactive interference. Your dog suffers a head injury and you notice that although he used to eat bits of food throughout the day, now he eats all his food at once and looks for more. Which area of his brain is most likely to have been damaged? The correct answer is the last one. Psychologists assess the correlation between scores obtained on two halves of a single test in order to measure the dash of a test. Validity, reliability, standardization, and factor analysis. Correct one is B, that is reliability of a test. Next is human factors psychology is most closely related to which of the following areas of psychology? Clinical, industrial, social, or personality? Correct is B, that is industrial. Behavior therapies apply learning principles to identify and treat the underlying causes of dysfunction, improve learning and insight, eliminate the unwanted behavior, improve communication and social sensitivity. Correct is C, that is eliminate the unwanted behavior. The conscious repetition of information in order to maintain it in memory is called automatic processing, rehearsal, priming, or chunking. Correct is B, that is rehearsal. Next question is a momentary sensory memory of visual stimuli is called dash memory. Ionic, implicit, echoic, or flash bulb. The correct one is the first one, that is iconic. The arousal theory, stating that emotion precedes overt behavior and consists mainly of a general state of arousal or activation, is called the Cannon-Bard theory, James Lange theory, general adaptation theory, or paired arousal theory. The correct one is the first one, that is Cannon-Bard theory. The part of the brain involved in the cognitive aspect of emotion is the correct one is the last one, that is cerebral cortex. Compulsive gamblers frequently recall losing less money than is actually the case. Their memory failure best illustrates proactive interference, the serial position effect, the next in line effect, or motivated forgetting. The correct one is the last one, that is motivated forgetting. The simplest, least sophisticated measure of variability is known as range, variance, correlation, or mean. Correct is the first one, that is range. Illness that seems to result from an interaction of physical and psychological factors are called depression. psychosomatic, conversion disorders, phobia. The correct one is second one, that is psychosomatic. In contrast with an emotion, a mood is more intense and longer in duration, less intense and shorter in duration, more intense and shorter in duration, less intense and longer in duration. Correct one is the last one, that is less intense and longer duration. Suppose subjects are asked to listen to the following list of letters and then to repeat them in order. Subjects who perform the task most accurately and with least apparent effort probably have chunked the letters into two recognizable word fragments, used the keywords method of study, used maintenance rehearsal, taken advantage of the primary effect. The correct one is the first one. In the Binet and Simons scoring system, an 8-year-old child who performed as well as an average 10-year-old would be assigned a mental age of 1.25, 8, 10, or 12.5. Correct one is C, that is 10. Ali, a college student, complains that he feels apprehensive and fearful most of the time but doesn't know why. Without warning, his heart begins to pound and his hands get icy and he breaks out in a cold sweat. Ali's symptoms suggest which disorder? The correct one is C, generalized anxiety. Suppose you meet a person at a party, which theory assumes you calculate the cost and benefits of developing a relationship with the person. Attribution, altruism, two-factor, or social exchange. The correct one is the last one, that is social exchange. If you believe that intelligence is made up of a small set of separate mental abilities, which of the following are you most likely to use to identify these abilities? Significant testing, reliability testing, method of Loki, or factor analysis. The correct one is D, that is factor analysis. Next is the portion of a DNA molecule that contains the code for the manufacture of one specific type of protein molecule is called. The correct answer is gene. A frequency distribution that has two distinct concentration of scores is negatively skewed, positively skewed, bimedial, or bimodal. Correct one is D, that is bimodal. The fundamental attribution error states that we credit success to dash causes and failure to dash causes. Social emotional, emotional social, external internal, internal external. The correct one is the last one, that is internal external. One way to increase the likelihood of compliance with a request is to induce a person to agree first to a much smaller request. This is known as sleeper effect, cognitive consistency technique, foot in the door technique, or Hawthorne effect. The correct one is C, that is foot in the door technique. Because Sidra is a good student, our teacher assumes she is also artist, well behaved, and from a good family. The teacher's assumptions are explained by the halo effect, the oversimplification, the good continuation, or self-fulfilling prophecy. Correct one is first one, the halo effect. Major depression is most likely to be characterized by delusions of persecution, a massive dissociation of self from ordinary consciousness, a persistent irrational fear of other people, or feelings of personal worthlessness. Correct one is the last one, that is feelings of personal worthlessness. GSR measures general synaptic response, specificity of auditory response, sweat gland activity, or kinesthetic reflex. Correct one is C, that is sweat gland activity. Which one of the following people had a son or a daughter who became a famous psychologist? It was Freud. Which of the following tests allows unconscious motivation, particularly the need for achievement, to be expressed? Correct one is C, that is TAT. Dr. Farwa is a clinical psychologist who often uses operant conditioning techniques to treat her clients. She also encourages them to modify their attributional patterns, and on occasion she interprets their transference behavior. Dr. Farwa's therapeutic approach would best be described as personal-centered, psychoanalytic, behavioral, or eclectic. Correct one is D, that is eclectic. The part of personality that provides a buffer between the inside and the outside world is superego, ego ideal, or none of these. Correct is ego. What is the value of median for the numbers? Correct one is C, that is 32.5 is the median. Which of the following test is likely to have the highest reliability? Correct one is B, that is MMPI. Who is the best example of a type B personality? Correct one is B, that is Arshad, a relaxed, easygoing dentist. Which therapeutic approach relies most heavily upon the clients discovering their own ways of effectively dealing with their difficulties? Psychoanalysis, rational emotive therapy, systematic desensitization, or person-centered therapy? Last one, that is person-centered therapy, is the correct one. In contrast to bulimia, anorexia is characterized by which one? The correct one is D, that is a refusal to maintain a minimal normal body weight. After detailed study of a gunshot wound victim, a psychologist concludes that the brain region destroyed is likely to be important for memory functions. Which research did the psychologist use to deduce this? Case study, survey, correlational, or experimental? It is the first one, that is case study. The term phenotype refers to the observable properties of the body and behavioral traits, a photographic representation of the chromosomes in a single cell, the observable properties of the body and the behavioral traits that are caused by the environment and not by the genes, and the observable properties of the body and the behavioral traits that are caused by the genes and not by the environment. The correct one is the first one. Newborn is referred to as, correct answer is C, that is neonate. What would Gestalt psychologists say is reversing in a reversible figure, such as the vast faces figure in your textbook? Figure-ground relations, perceptions of similarity, good continuation, or border and texture? Correct one is the first one, that is figure-ground relations. The tendency to organize stimuli into smooth, uninterrupted patterns is called closure, continuity, similarity, or proximity. Correct one is B, that is continuity. Which parenting style usually produces children with the greatest confidence and self-esteem? Permissive, authoritarian, authoritative, or rejecting, neglecting? Correct one is C, that is authoritative. According to Erikson, isolation is the intimacy, as role confusion is to mistrust, guilt, inferiority, or identity. Correct one is the last one, that is identity. At times, Aisha contemplates suicide. Which of the following terms would best describe in Freudian terms what motivates these thoughts? Basic instincts, the preconscious, the eros, or the thanatos? The correct one is the last one. Which of the following is the brain structure that regulates the body's internal environment, in part through influences on the autonomic nervous system and hormones? Correct one is the last one. The process by which sensory information is converted into neural energy is? Correct one is again the last one, transduction. The procedure designed to ensure that the experimental and control groups do not differ in any way that might affect the experiment's result is called variable controlling, random assignment, representing samples, or stratification. Correct one is B, that is random assignment. Which perspective emphasizes the learning of observable, responsible, behavioral, social, cultural, neuroscience, or cognitive? Correct one is the first one, that is behavioral. A person identifies a word faster if it is part of a meaningful sentence than if it is part of a meaningless string of words. This observation constitutes evidence for the eye movement readiness theory, attenuation theory of attention, power of top-down processing, power of bottom-up processing. Correct one is the C, that is power of top-down processing. Communication between neurons or between a neuron and a muscle cell takes place across. The correct one is the first one. Psychology is concerned with the study of. Correct one is C, that is mind and behavior. Which of the following was particularly interested in the effect of birth order on personality? Correct one is B, that is Adler. In one of the Pavlov's experience, a dog learned to salivate at the sound of a bell. In this case, the bell was dash, and the salivation it elicited was an unconditional stimulus, a conditioned response, a conditioned stimulus, a conditional response, a conditioned stimulus, an unconditioned response, a conditioned reflex, and conditioned response. The correct one is B, that is a conditioned stimulus and a conditioned response. Pinna is a part of outer ear, oval window, cochlea, or ossicles. It is first one, that is outer ear. Movement illusions such as the moon cloud illusion, in which the moon appears to race from cloud to cloud, illustrates the role in visual perception played by. Correct one is a frame of reference. Shayad, a junior high school, regularly attends mass because his family and friends think he should. Which stage of moral reasoning Shahid is in? Pre-conventional, conventional, post-conventional, or too little information to tell? B. That is conventional. The phenomenon of spontaneous recovery provides evidence. Correct one is B. That is extinction inhibits but does not destroy the conditioned reflex. A hormone that increases heart rate, blood pressure, and blood sugar levels in times of emergency is first one is correct. Which of the following concepts most closely related? C. Collective unconscious archetypes. Echoic memories fade after approximately 1 hour, 1 minute, 30 seconds, 1 second. The correct one is the last one, that is 1 second. The size of the pupil is controlled by lens, retina, cornea, or iris. The correct one is D. Which of the following is not behaviorist? Correct one is B, that is Maslow. A is a tentative explanation of a phenomena that can be tested and then supported or rejected. The correct one is hypothesis. Which of the following is not a projective technique? Correct one is B, that is MMPI. Shahid's parents refuse to believe that he has cancer and continues to tell their friends that he has surgery to remove a cyst. They are practicing defense mechanism of denial, displacement, fantasy, rationalization. Correct is denial. The humanist approach to psychology was founded by, the correct one is B, that is Rogers and Maslow. The system of primarily related to behavior in the areas of motivation and emotion is, correct one is A, that is endocrine system. A psychologist who assesses the effects of noise level in a factory and the incidence of accidents is probably he is industrial psychologist. Maslow is a chief opponent of the school of human behavior, humanist school of human behavior. Who wrote the classical book entitled The Expressions of Emotions in Man and Animals? The correct one was Darwin. Stay blessed. See you.